Honey, where'd you go when you went out last night?
Just over to Tom's house. Played some poker, had some brewskis, you know.
Really? Then would you mind explaining that?
At least they know how to touch a man! Oh, walk away.
Come on, Marvel. There's gotta be at least one person over there that can get their shit together. Like, okay, I'm showing some of your characters, and I don't want my video to get gay-jacked.
I don't know, Joe. Sometimes the security's pretty lax. I mean, the last plane I was on got gay-jacked.
This plane's going to Miami!
Well, hello, kiddies. This is your friendly neighborhood watchman, here with you today to talk about comic books. Yep, comic books. So if you're not interested, if this ain't your thing, well, you won't care for this video. As for myself, I grew up on comic books. Read them since I can remember. My mom and pops used to buy them for me. The old Harvey comics, Richie Rich, Casper the Friendly Ghost, all that stuff. Marvel comics, everything, Spider-Man, Superman. And because of it, my grades in English were way above average. And by the end of middle school, I was reading at college level. And there is indeed a correlation there. And unfortunately, I feel sorry for the kids nowadays who can't read comic books from the big companies without their views and propaganda being inserted throughout. But I digress. This article from the New York Post, written by John Stossel, with the heading, "Woke comic books are laughable money losers. But DC and Marvel keep pushing them anyway." And so, without further delay, let's jump right into this. Did you know that Superman's son is bisexual?
Who'd you talking about?
No, I did not, because I haven't been reading comic books in many a year. So is Batman's sidekick, Robin.
Oh, hell no!
And lots of other superheroes created by Marvel and DC. With the current woke zeitgeist we're living in, I'm not surprised. But to continue, the author of the bisexual Superman story says gay people right to say they burst into tears when they saw that the characters had become gay. While it's nice to make LGBTIQ plus people feel more welcome in the world, not everyone is happy. Because, despite what the woke leftists would have you believe, not everyone is gay.
2 snaps and a rewind.
They became bisexual, quote, out of nowhere, end quote, complains comic creator Eric July to me. They make it seem as if the only way that you can relate to a character is because you're gay, and that character's gay, which is nonsense. I agree totally, 100. July, who is black, says you don't have to share the same traits as a superhero to enjoy the character. His favorite was Batman. I ain't got Bruce Wayne money, and I'm not rich, and I'm certainly not white. July points out that there have long been gay comic superheroes, like North Star. But what's new and dumb is that DC and Marvel are changing the identity of established characters. A new Batman is black. There's a new Spider-Man-like character, except she's lesbian, oh brother, who uses a wheelchair. Iron Man is now a black teenage girl. No, really. Maybe this is progress. When I was a kid, I said to July, all the characters were white. It's a good thing more non-white. Well, that's hyperbole because not all characters were white. Growing up as a kid, we had 3 Green Lanterns from Earth, and one of them was black, and his name is John Stewart. You see him in the Justice League animated series. But it's true, they were the minority, because they were the minority.
Duh.
Certainly, we had no problem, all different shades under the sun as characters in freaking comic books. No problem at all. But try to make it a crime because a lot of the old characters, comic book characters, were white. Well, this was, and still is, majority white country, if you will. White populated country. More so in the 30s, when Superman and Batman were created. In Nigeria, you're going to have a majority of black characters in their superhero comic book industry. Why? Because the majority of the population is black.
Duh.
Don't make it racist. That being said, the problem here is changing characters that have been around for 40, 50, 60, up to 85 years and just changing their sexual preferences and or skin color just to virtue signal. That's all it is. To push their agendas, the woke agendas. And if you don't agree, if you complain, then you'll be labeled racist, homophobe, etc., etc.
Whatever.
You know how it goes. Create new characters, alright? Start from the ground up. That's the main beef as far as I'm concerned. I mean, you'd think that from some of these industries and companies like Disney, you'd think 50% of the population is gay. How about telling a good story and not even going there? Not even having to know someone's sexual preference. I mean, Robin's been around for, since the 40s, 1940s, and now he has to be gay? Robin has to be gay now? Why? No reason at all to make him gay, other than virtue signaling from the rooftops. Here's Jordan Peterson. It says here, one comic book villain even resembled anti-woke author and psychologist Jordan Peterson. And unfortunately, that's how the comic book industry is now. If you don't follow their warped, woke way of thinking, they'll turn you into a villain. And this garbage was around when I was a kid.
We're too close. Stay on target. Loosen up.
Who the f*** do you think you're talking to?
But they've just been reduced to being an item to pander to certain audiences that aren't really buying into it, July responds. No, they sure aren't. Marvel and DC had the best-selling graphic novels. Now the bestsellers are from Japan. More often they aren't even in color, yet they outsell Marvel and DC. The American-made books aren't even in the top 20. No surprise, Japanese comics don't have that woke bullshit in them. They turned off their audience by hyper-emphasizing the social justice element, says July. Correctamundo. Marvel made its evil character MODOK resemble Donald Trump. Nothing with Biden, huh? Nothing with senile, corrupt, perverted Joe Biden, though, huh? Shocking. It hired leftist writer Ta-Nehisi Coates to create a Captain America series. Coates made the villain, Red Skull, a bizarre version of psychologist and writer Jordan Peterson. Instead of just saving lives, today's comic superheroes lead protests. The cover of a Superman comic shows Superman's son leading a school strike for climate. It's so stupid. Superman, with all his powers, could solve climate change all by himself. But now he holds a protest sign. Well, no, he can't solve climate change because there's no such thing. It's natural. Since the world's been here. We have warm climate, we have ice ages in the past, and then the weather will get warmer. Rinse and repeat. Is it pollution? Sure. That's not the same thing. And the two biggest contributors are China and India, not the US. But I digress. These guys are writing material for their peers, says July. So even if the son of Superman falls completely off the charts, like it did, right? It's still a win in their mind. Yup, Eric July spitting facts, baby. I thought that capitalism would be a break on the sidious of the woke world. But in this case, they're just sabotaging their own projects. The bisexual Superman series was canceled after 18 issues. Yeah, what a big shock. And you know they kept dragging it along to even reach 18 issues. As I'm sure issue 13 sold just as badly as 18. But they kept pushing their little woke agendas out of spite. But it's a weird new world out there, Cap. You can say that again. The MODOK, Donald Trump villain, huh? That's the character that they introduced in Ant-Man and Wasp, Quantumania.
Surprised to see me?
Yeah?
Marvel came up with two not-so-superheroes named Snowflake and Safe Space. Yeah, I did a video on that a while back. Snowflake is non-binary and goes by they, them, says the writer in Marvel's video introducing the characters. Fan reaction to the preview video was pretty bad. Marvel decided not to release Snowflake and Safe Space, one of the very few things they've done right in recent years. I wanted to ask Marvel and DC why they seem fine with losing market share. Aren't their investors angry? Neither company would talk to me. Another shock, another surprise. Can you imagine Stan Lee not talking? Oh man, back in the day, as a kid, you had Stan Lee's soapbox. Stan Lee would talk the media's ear off But to get back to the article,
Stay on target.
at least their stupidity gives new opportunities to independent creators like Eric July. He raised $3.7 million to fund a new superhero comic book, Isom. The market will decide if people want to pay for new characters like him. But July understands something that Marvel and DC apparently no longer do. Capitalism means giving people what they want, not what you would like to shove down their throats. So folks, when we are afforded the opportunity, we shall read some readers' comments. Here we have, to start us off, from Tired of Stupid. When you create something demanded by 10%, it's even lower than that. You're giving them too much pull, more like 3% and lower. So how many of that read comic books? Like 1%? If that, of your target customer base, but need to sell it to 70 to 80% of that base, you are surprised when you lose money because maybe 15% of your base buys it. Not good product development. That's the problem with this woke agenda. While you may think it's a majority, it is a small percent of the actual population. Think statistic bell curve. The majority of people fit near center. It is fringe that sits at the far left or right of the curve. Agree with that. From Leonardo, D81 we have, it's not 10%. It's more like 1%. It's only a small percentage of the 10% that will even buy these comics. They are destroying their business from within. Exactly. Say 3% of the population, so obviously it's even less than that reads comic books. Too busy on TikTok. Vladimir Smirnov replies, and this is not like the movie industry. People will go to the movies even if they're bad. It's a habit. Comic books are a niche business. Their consumers are far more likely to simply stop buying. Yep. From Woke Woo we have, woke ideology isn't about being inclusive. It's about promoting division. You can't constantly emphasize people's differences and pretend you're trying to bring them together.
Bingo!
Touche. Truer words were never spoken, says Jimbo. Agreed. Disco Fool also adds, we had to burn the village to the ground in order to save it type of thinking by the comic book people. Yep. Last but not least, from Kate S., my husband's direct quote is this: Marvel and DC haven't put out good books in a long time. They are unrecognizable, with maybe 2 or 3 exceptions each, usually just for the artwork. Indie books usually stay away from wokeness and tend to focus on stories for the most part. Yeah, the comic book industry sure isn't what it was, what it used to be. You woke motherfucker just killed the industry. They can't create, so they destroy. They're better at destroying than creating, than building. Well, folks, with that said, we reached the end of this video. If you agree with the article and the video, please comment, give us a like, subscribe. If you haven't already, you'll be helping out the channel that way. And hit that notification bell so that you'll always be forewarned whenever I drop another video. And as always, stay safe, and I bid you peace.
Black Widow's gone now, but she leaves behind the gift of knowledge. The knowledge that you cannot defeat Demogorg, the God Eater, with a karate kick.
But I almost got him with my arrows. Right, guys? What am I saying? I don't even know why you guys keep me around.
Ho, ho, ho. Oh, yeah.
Damn it, my video got gay jacked.